So let's take this example and see how the individual rental income tax is calculated. Remember, our rental income tax is an annual total collection of all the rent you've got for a particular year. Yeah. So for the individual calculation of the rental income tax, we'll begin off with the threshold. Threshold is a constant amount. Yeah. It's always, for individual, it's always 2,820,000. And if the annual rental income is 2,820 and below that, URA cannot tax you for that year, yeah, for the rental income tax. It can only charge you amounts that are above that threshold, yeah, because URA understands that as you're running a property, you incur expenses, security, cleaning, repairs. They are expenses that you incur as you run the property throughout the year. So they put a constant amount of 2,820,000 to cater for every expense that you could have incurred as you are running that property during that particular year. So what will happen is we need to calculate and get the chargeable rental income, which URA will charge, yeah? So you subtract the total annual rental income. Let's give an example. If it is 30 million, that for a particular year we worked, and our rental income from the property we rented out was 30 million. So you have to subtract the threshold from that 30 million, which is going to be 30 million minus 2,820,000. In example A, you can see we get, after subtracting that, we get the chargeable rental income is 27,180,000. So now from the chargeable amount, we can now calculate our what? Our rental income tax, which is always a constant of 12% of the chargeable rental income. So we are going to get the 27,180,000 times the 12%. And if we calculate that, we get our rental income tax for that particular year as 3,261,600 shillings. So that becomes the amount that URA will take as the rental income tax for that particular year. Yeah. So that is for the individual category.
So let's look at the second category, which is the calculation of the rental income tax for the partnership category. So because partnership, they are individuals, they are not entities that are registered or company organization. So it takes the same process for the individual category, but up to a certain stage, yeah? Let's look at this. So number 2, we are looking at partnership. As you can see in this example, the threshold still remains the same. It's a constant for individuals, like I told you. So here it will still remain 2,820,000. So let's take the same example of 30 million as the annual rental income for that particular year. So it will be annual rental income of 30 million. So into brackets A, example A, the chargeable rental income will be got by subtracting off the threshold. Like I told you, URA cannot tax you on amount that are below the threshold and below. So we have to subtract off the threshold, which will get 30 million minus 2,820,000. We'll get 27,180,000. So if we are to calculate the rental income tax in example B, the threshold here, of course, remains the same, like I told you, 2,820,000, but the percentage that has to be charged from the chargeable rental income is 12%. So it's still constant. 12% is constant. So to get the rental income tax, we have to charge 12% of the chargeable rental income, which is 27,180,000 times 12%, where we get 3,261,600, yeah? So as I told you earlier on, that in the partnership category, the income they are getting from the rental collection is divided between the husband and the wife. That is if the partnership is between the husband and the wife. So we are giving an example. This is not a constant value. Let's say the woman gets a ratio of 2 and then the husband gets a ratio of 3. Yeah, that means the husband is getting more than the wife. Let's see how this calculation goes.
So let's look at the calculation of the partnership with the ratios. Yeah, we said the ratio is 2 to 3 and wife, husband. Yeah, so that means the wife is earning less of the rental income collected than the husband. So in calculation of ratios, we have to first get the sum of the ratios, so that the sum is always the denominator, yeah? Then the ratios are the nominators. So here we'll calculate the wife's rental income tax, which is 2 divided by 5 times. Remember, our total rental income tax for husband and wife is 3,261,600. So times the ratio, which is ratio of 2 divided by 5 times the rental income tax that was collected, yeah? So for the wife, what the wife has to pay URA is, it will be 1,304,640. Then for the husband, we follow the same procedure, the ratio of 3 divided by 5 times the rental income tax, which is 3,261,600. When we multiply that, we get the husband's rental income tax will be 1,956,960. So that is the calculation of the partnership category.
So lastly, let's look at the rental income tax calculation for the registered entities, which entails companies, institutions, basically registered bodies. Yeah. So let's look at that calculation. In this example, let's take this example that we are seeing of Makerere University. These figures are not the real ones, they are just estimated ones. Yeah, let's say Makerere University has some properties they are renting out, yeah, and their rental income for that particular year is 250 million. So for Makerere University, the threshold for registered entities is always 50% of the total annual rental income, yeah, which is half of the total rental income collected. 50% is half, as we all know. So if we are to calculate the threshold, it's going to be 50% times the total annual rental income, which is 250 million, yeah? So if we are to multiply that, it equals to 125 million, which is the threshold, the 50%, which cannot be charged like I told you. So the chargeable amount here will be the total annual rental income, which is 250 million minus the threshold, which is 125. So that we take 125 as our chargeable rental income. So if we are to now calculate the tax is 30% of the net rental income, which is going to be 30% times our chargeable rental income, which is 125. So if we calculate that, we get our rental income for Makerere University for this particular year as 37,500,000. So as you can see here, that is the example for the registered entities, which is normally the institutions, the companies, the corporate bodies, all those registered entities take this example. So as you can see in this example, the 37,500,000 is our rental income tax in this example of Makerere University. Yeah, so that is the calculation. Thank you.